Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood will remain in me, and I will remain in him. You know, when Jesus says some things that are really, really hard to hear. And this is one of them. This sounds like pure cannibalism. And the disciples, the would-be disciples at the time, would have heard it this way. And you can see they immediately argue, how can he tell us to give us his flesh to eat? But you'll notice that John the Evangelist, the gospel writer here, has Jesus not even attend to the question. It goes right back down to the meaning of what he's saying. And he says, remain in me. Stay in me, and you will have eternal life. In other words, you don't understand it. Just do it. Remain in me always, and you will have eternal life. It harkens back to the other part of the same gospel that talks about a beautiful metaphor of the vine and the branches. And there, that remain in me is mentioned no less than 14 times. As a reminder that we are to always remain in Jesus. Because he says then later that he is the truth, the way, and the life. One of the most beautiful phrases of John's gospel. And in all things, in all times, we are to stay fixed and focused on Jesus. As hard as it is to sometimes hear, that we focus on that because he is the truth and the whole truth. There are other times when we hear stuff ourselves, and it's hard to hear. And this week has been certainly one of them for us as a Catholic Church. After hearing of the report in the 6th Diocese of Pennsylvania that over 1,000 children with over 300 priests credibly accused, and then to read the details of what has happened, you cannot but wonder, where in God's name were the leadership of the church? What were they thinking? It is criminal and morally reprehensible what has happened. And we can be sure that that is not the only state. We need to stop this somehow. This is so repugnant to see what has happened inside our own church with our own children. For God's sakes, our children. And to see them, not only did they not do anything, they passed them on from one parish to the next. It is morally reprehensible, and there has been no accountability. None in the leadership of the church. It is repugnant. And I read that, and my heart broke. I'm a man with the cloth. I have to read that and see that that's what our church wants. 70 years. And for what are they protecting? They have destroyed what we have. Now, I know many of you feel so hurt and sad as well. And it is a terrible travesty. But the ones we not need to feel sorry for are ourselves. But we must align and stay with those victims who tried to get the truth be known, and they were rebuffed. And their parents tried and pleaded, and they got nowhere. We must stand with the victims. And we must acknowledge their pain now more than ever. That they now are re-traumatized in every avenue of their life. These children's lives were wrecked. Their families destroyed. And the church did not stand with them. Did not stand up. There must be something. The church must be the first to go out in front and demand that the statute of limitations for criminal prostitution must be obliterated in every state. And that those who have done stuff, regardless of what deals have been cut for silence, they must be held accountable. We must stop this. We cannot continue to have a church that is willing to hide the truth. We must have every church in the diocese, every diocese in the country, to demand its full truth to be fully disclosed. And I don't care if we don't have a church to celebrate Mass in, and we celebrate Mass in the parking lot from here on out. We will stand with the victims who deserve the truth to be known. Their pain and suffering is incomprehensible. The church must stand up now and join other movements and stop this charade. It must stop now. And we who believe in Jesus Christ must align ourselves to the victims and must demand that they have their time heard and that they have got to have the truth be told so that they can finally have some healing. We must, as a church, no longer settle and agree that the bishops can do this on their own. They have not, they will not, and we need, if every one of them have to hand in the resignation, so be it. It must stop. We have to demand the truth. Because for our sake of our church and the future of our church, we believe in Jesus, and Jesus would stand with the victims. And so must we. We must absorb our own suffering and stand with those who have been hurt. And we must do it collectively. And we must do it loudly. And we must do it publicly. The truth must be known, because the truth will set us free. That is Jesus Christ, His way, the truth, and the life.